Hi there, I'm Teresa Maron, and I'm the LearnTo Queen. The niche and passion of my expertise is creating conscious content in the self-help and personal development fields because I truly believe that conscious content creation by people like you is changing the world. Join me and my guest expert collaboration partners for an inside look at the problem-solving industry. We want to help you so that you can help others. Hi there, and welcome to LearnTo Podcast for Profit. I'm your host, Teresa Maron, and I'm the content marketing expert with Podcasting by Professionals. And we're discussing today starting a podcast for fun and for profit. And we want to encourage you to consider starting your own show in 2015. Now, we feel that it is especially profitable if you're an author, a teacher, a coach, or a speaker, and you're in the right place if you feel that this might be the right thing for you. All it takes is ambition, dedication, practice, passion, hard work, and if you're listening to us right now and you think that the magic word is syndication, you're going to find out a whole lot more about just that. Because my special guest, Keith Rupnik of Linx Broadcast Marketing, is the distribution and syndication expert for Podcasting by Professionals. And we're going to talk to you today about some behind-the-scenes insider info that you can use to jumpstart your business right away and set some realistic goals for long-term marketing. So help me welcome Keith to LearnTo Podcast for Profit. Hello, Keith.
Hi, Teresa. Thanks for having me on today.
Well, and we're having a great time, and I can't wait. Actually, I'm really excited to hear you explain all the ins and outs of syndication and distribution, because we have people right now that are really bright and shining stars, but they don't really understand exactly how to jump in the game and make it work for them.
That's what I do, so I'm always happy to talk about it and help others who might be looking at doing something like that.
Well, I'll tell you quite frankly, and I could say this is about myself as well. Affiliate marketing, distribution, and syndication, they're all pretty big words. You know, they conjure these fantasies of success, but as far as putting them into practice, I'm just not sure. So if you're just getting started right now, are these words that you should put in your vocabulary?
They are, and two more that I would toss in that I think have become more important over the years. Certainly we're talking about podcasting, so that would be one, and the other would be regional syndication. The road to becoming a successfully syndicated radio program is challenging, and we get a lot of calls from people who have an individual radio program, internet show, who are looking to syndicate and are under the assumption that they're going to be on the air and in markets 1 through 50, and it'll take just a few months, when we know that actually it takes quite a bit longer than that. When it comes to radio syndication, you as a show host, if syndication, and when I say syndication, I'm thinking terrestrial syndication, radio syndication, the AM/FM dial, you really have two different customers, two sets of customers. One, your listener, and the other being the radio program directors who are going to decide to put your show on their radio station. Before we can get to your listener customer, we have to pass through the program director, and we really need to come up with the things that will impress that program director and make them decide to put your radio show on their station. And it's real tough to be able to call New York, LA, Chicago, San Francisco and say, here's a new show, we think you should carry it. And as a matter of fact, we won't do that. It's a request that won't be honored, and we'll be faced with lots of questions about, well, where is the show currently and what kind of audience does it have? So in order to generate that, that's where I'm a real big believer in regional syndication, and this is kind of dovetails very nicely with podcasting. So let's take a real estate agent, and that real estate agent wants to grow and build their business in a particular community. Certainly, being an available on audio expert is one way to do that. And if you're going to start on terrestrial radio, then let's get yourself on a local radio station, become successful with a local radio program, polish your craft. And if you then want to expand to larger syndication, we'll adopt a regional syndication approach. So if you're on the air in Oklahoma City and you want to expand your business to Tulsa and other places within Oklahoma, it's a lot easier to be able to call a program director in Tulsa and say, we have a show in Oklahoma City that's doing very well, and we think that it also could do well in your radio environment, and because it's regionally syndicated, we're going to be talking about things that are regionally relevant when it comes to the marketplace, home values. We're going to be very specific about what's happening in your area. And now suddenly you're starting to talk the language of a program director, because you're bringing to the table a program with the economic benefits of syndication, and the relevance of local radio programming. And that's very different than coming to them and saying, here's a star with ratings that you should carry, which is how a lot of the national programs will market themselves. It's a flanker approach to that. And so that's kind of the way we focus on syndication. Podcasting dovetails with that very nicely. As you're building your area of expertise in Oklahoma City, in this particular example, you're available on the air in Oklahoma City. You're also available in podcasting form. And because your content is so specific to what's happening in the region, other radio stations hopefully will find you to be of value, and other people will want to download your podcast that you're promoting on the air because they too see a value in the content that you're bringing to the table. So I think that can be a very interesting and effective way for somebody to build their voice for becoming an expert in their field and in their area. Don't think that success is going to be measured upon being on the air in the top 5 markets in the country, because in reality, until you get to a point where you've proven yourself, they're not going to look at you anyway. So don't give up. Don't say, well, if I can't have that, then I'm not even going to begin this game. Look at your own trading area, your own region where you can be successful and make money, and build that first. And you know what? You may never even have a need to go to a top 5 market. But if you decide that you want to, then you've got the building blocks in place to hopefully help somebody kind of turn their head and take notice.
Well, that's what you were talking about, this long-range goal and putting together a plan from the very beginning. I mean, as you're developing even your title, I mean, your on-air persona, the very beginning stages of putting together a podcast, if you have your long-range goal in mind, then you have a much shorter road to travel to whatever is your perceived successful spot. Isn't that what you're saying?
It is. It is. It's when it comes right down to it, the very basics are content, and then making sure that that content is displayed in a professional manner, both in how it's showcased, the technical quality, and it's backed by a very sound marketing plan that gets your podcast into the right ears.
That's right. And that's what the team at Podcasting by Professionals has put together. is a step-by-step plan that starts with concept development, goes into sound quality, goes into how to collaborate strategically by using guests and other show hosts to help you cross-market, goes into a podcast-specific marketing strategy, and then into the distribution and syndication expertise that you personally have. So when you say place your podcast everywhere you can, and you talk about aggregate websites and apps and things like that, can you talk a little bit more simply to the people who are brand new and let them know exactly what you mean by that step of the puzzle?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, naturally, of course, the podcast should appear on your website, and that's the easiest place potentially for somebody to find it. The aggregate websites are the tuned-ins, the blog talk radios, the Spreakers, the Stitchers, the places where people will go to listen to radio programming, to podcasts. And then there's a variety of different apps. Each of those aggregate sites has an app. There's a lot of individual boutique apps as well, such as Igloo Radio. So get your show on all of the places where you potentially could be heard. That's key, but also beginning with that end in mind, knowing that connected car is coming, you also want to make sure that you have a standalone presence. One of the things that concerns me about the aggregate websites, the aggregate sites, is that there are 30,000, many of these have 30,000 hosts. How do you stand out in 30,000 amongst 30,000 different hosts? That's going to be real hard. And if success is gauged upon quality content, being memorable, and being discovered, you're going to want to make sure that you're not just one of 30,000. There might be some place to be included as well, but have a standalone brand. For example, your website should not be, or your show should not be found on www.aggregatewebsite.com/entertainment/your show name. That's going to be real hard for somebody who's driving to find you in a connected car, let alone on a computer or an app device. Your website, your show should be found first and foremost at www.yourshowname.com. And then all the other things kind of fill in the gaps.
Well, I totally get what you're talking about, and you make a very good point because, I guess it was probably a year and a half ago, I was hearing everyone talk about wanting to get on Stitcher and Spreaker and all these different, what you're calling the aggregate websites. And, I think a lot of them have forgotten, or maybe not forgotten, that your own URL for your own show is what's going to be really, really easy for you to market and for you to place with the people that are going to eventually become your loyal, dedicated followers that are going to engage with you in many, many ways. So wouldn't that be like the third person that you need to impress? I mean, the program director, and then just the various listeners, and then the people that you really want to engage and become your personal followers?
Absolutely. And the way you impress them, and each, of course, customer has a different set of criteria and what they're looking for to be impressed upon. But in this particular case, the listener of your podcast, they want to be impressed upon content and then a place that's easy to remember where to find you. And then when they
Wait a minute. I think that's New York calling. Go ahead and take it.
Yes. They're booking your show. They're booking your show.
Oh my goodness! Is it Howard Stern?
This is how it works. It's that easy. But no, content, a place that's memorable, and then once they get there, easy to find your show.
Well, I have to ask this question, and I know that the answer is probably not going to please me, but just be brutal, Keith. How will I know when I'm ready for terrestrial radio?
Well, it's not. You're getting a lot of phone calls. It's, and I think that's terrific because it does mean that somebody's responding to you. But a program director is not going to want to hear. They're getting a lot of calls. The show is getting a lot of calls, and of course, and you shouldn't be you should be flattered, but not motivated by the fact that your family members tell you have great speaking voice. And we hear that a lot. But I mean, all those things are nice. They're important, but you'll know you're ready for terrestrial syndication when you have a program that has the capability, and this is where kind of the presentation to a program director and the buy-in and the acceptance from a program director, but a show that has the capability from a subject matter of being a magnet on a particular radio station. So probably content is first and foremost. If you're just another political talker who comes along and is going to rant and rave on the president, it's probably not going to work so well because there are a lot of people who are doing that. But if you've got a specific...
There's actually people out there who have a view on politics?
Yes. They rant and rave like you wouldn't believe. And those are some of the most popular shows on radio today. However, talk radio, while still the number one format in the country, is eroding a little bit. I don't think it's anywhere near dead, but it is having some challenges when it comes to monetization of the format. And I think the program directors, as those kind of conditions continue to exist, are going to be looking for things that are key and different. And so what are and it may be something that nobody else is doing right now. But what is that area of expertise that content category that has yet to be done that will bring people to a podcast, that will develop downloadable numbers that a program director can no longer look the other way on. And then, of course, it's got to be well produced. Production values have to be high. The delivery has to be articulate and flow well. All of those things. And it's happening. There are about half a dozen shows now on the air in syndication that have started as podcasts, that have turned heads like that.
It's a very exciting time to be in the industry. So I really appreciate your conversation today, Keith, and you have really shared truly some insider information. So I appreciate it.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me on today.
Well, this is LearnTo Podcast for Profit with Teresa Maron, and my guest star today was brilliant Keith Rupnik of Linx Broadcast Marketing. And I just have to take you out today with our tagline at Podcasting by Professionals. We're reaching millions. Join us. Isn't that great?
Please join us.
Please join us. And you can reach millions too. Hi there, I'm Teresa Maron, and I'm the LearnTo Queen. Join me and my guest expert collaboration partners for an inside look at the problem-solving industry. We want to help you so that you can help others.